Could be a chance to give Kupiak a chance to study something that he wants to study. So if that could be a good thing. That could be a good thing. Although they gave us nothing, they didn't take any questions, and they gave us nothing as far as speculation that way. So it's hard to say. Willie says they continue to say it's safe, like that even matters now. Yeah. Oh, the other thing, thank you for bringing that up. That's the other thing I was going to say about it being like donepezil, about it being an acetylcholine, like one of these nicotinic acetylcholine receptor, is that it made people, 5% of people made them dizzy. So maybe that is what's happening, is that the little effect was an acetylcholine agonist, receptor agonist. Joe Roy here. This is a huge loss, but just want to say how much I appreciate you. I appreciate you, my friend. I appreciate everyone here. And that's what I really feel most of all easily is I don't really even care that I lost money. It's the whole community I feel a lot of sadness. Thank you for all you've done. I'm out of biotech forever, but will certainly subscribe to your club for advice on other sectors. Still hope to meet you one day. Thank you, my friend. We will move forward. We'll absolutely learn from this. And we'll keep going. This is not the end, even though this is a gut punch. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate you and everyone here. Thank you, my friend. Wine says, while it doesn't work for Alzheimer's, it doesn't mean that there are not a lot of other indications where it might be a treatment. That's true. However, I don't think that, just like we said, that when you are validated in one indication, it de-risks you at least somewhat in other indications. It goes the other way too. This fails in one neurological condition, it's unlikely. Like if they had their Parkinson's, so it just makes it more unlikely in the others as well. So they're very, in my opinion, they're just simply not going to pursue it.
Bitboy and Ansem are fighting. I think he probably lost a lot of subscriptions, so let's try to. He is a number one rated stock analyst. Let's try to get his subs back up. Everybody go sub. It's only $500. I know you got it. Oh, big slime. I did. I did subscribe. We need more picks. Yeah, if you can only afford one, I definitely think you should do Godell. But we need to help Joe, man. So you made a lot of money, hundreds of thousands or even millions. Throw Joe a bone, man. He needs it. Totally, man. Casimir, totally. It's too weird for him to be such a cheerleader, right? Man, I'm in New York City. They're trying to find the shooter. I see anybody that looks like that guy, I'm holding him. Holding him till the police come, just in case. Nah, he the shooter. Nah, he the shooter.
Order cancelled.
Martin, this is a black guy. Nah, he the shooter though. Wrong guy. Wrong guy. I got it wrong, okay? I got it wrong. I ain't see nothing. Somehow this reminds me of Field of Dreams. We ate a lot of crap in prison. I try not to eat any of it.
Same here from the other Roy. Thank you, Roy. I appreciate everything you've done, Joe. Biocheck just doesn't seem to be my bag. It's been a tough road, my friend. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. You got Kathy Wood involved for us. What a great team to be a part of. We did so much cool stuff.
Kathy Wood was a baggie?
It worked out better. Rasmus says, I guess Rick had the same level of conviction as we did. Yeah, and they're in total shock today. They did what they needed and expected positive results. Yeah, they, if he wanted, he could have tried to do something like dress up these results and go to Pfizer and say, you know what, give us $5 billion and you can just have us now.
Excuse me?
And then say, this has been so controversial. We needed somebody like Pfizer on our side. And they did. And then that anyway.
Pfizer would not give this company $5 million. Listen to this shit. Listen to this shit. Don't you think Sava shareholders would rather have $5 billion in the balance sheet right now?
It just makes it more unlikely in the others as well. So they're very, in my opinion, they're just simply not going to pursue it. Same here from the other Roy. Thank you, Roy. I appreciate everything you've done, Joe. Biocheck just doesn't seem to be my bag. It's been a tough road, my friend. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. You got Kathy Wood involved for us. What a great team to be a part of. We did so much cool stuff. I just wish it worked out better. Rasmus says, I guess Rick had the same level of conviction as we did. Yeah, and
that's BioInvestor who said biotech just doesn't seem to be my bag. My man, your name is literally BioInvestor. Same here from the other Roy. Appreciate everything you have done, Joe. Biotech just doesn't seem to be my bag. You are the BioInvestor. You used to come here. I would teach you biotech. It's not your bag because you're an idiot.
In total shock today. They did what they needed and expected positive results. Yeah, they, if he wanted, he could have tried to do something like dress up these results and go to Pfizer and say, you know what, give us $5 billion and you can just have us now. And then say, this has been so controversial. We needed somebody like Pfizer on our side. And they did. And then that, anyway, what I'm saying there is they could have gotten their bonuses that way, but they didn't do anything like that.
Because they couldn't. You can't just call up Pfizer and get $5 billion. That's not how it works. Fucking
They
Joe.
could have gotten their bonuses that way. This has been so controversial. We needed somebody like Pfizer on our side. And they did. And then that, anyway, what I'm saying there is they could have gotten their bonuses that way, but they didn't do anything like that.
Yeah, Pfizer just loves handing out billions of dollars. It's nothing. You just call them up. They have a hotline.
And for Rick to come into the seat, to come into the CEO seat, I mean, he had to have. This is not. I think that internally they are. Like, we feel gut punched. I think that they do too. Surely, I mean, I don't think there's any way Rick would have moved into that CEO seat if he didn't think it worked. So it's tough. I agree with you, Rasmus. They did what they needed and expected positive results. Yep. This is so strange to square this circle, says McClintock. So this would mean that the miles from CMS were just an artifact?
Yes!
That's so strange.
Yes, it's not strange.
I don't know. It's well, not really. The miles in CMS. Yeah, no, you're right. Because they, as a group, you're right.
Yeah. Artifact.
Gosh, it's so hard to say. You're right. It's so hard to say. I'll be sure to pour over the data when it comes out completely, because when it comes out more, they don't have to reveal this. Companies don't have to reveal the data. I was very glad, but along with Rick saying that they're hoping this advances the field, so and hopefully they'll be revealing this just so we can all learn from it. Yeah, legit says hang around for a buyout from a company who wants to be listed. That's true too. Now they have 149 million. They could hang around for 50 years before that can happen. Are they going to sell the drug? I seriously don't think anyone will buy it. I'm in shock, but glad this is over. Appreciate Joe and all the longs. Joyce, yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing your expertise all along and support and being a part of the team for 4 years with us here. So I'm in shock too. This is not at all the way. Gosh, yeah. This is not the way I thought it would end, but we can now move on. We know a lot more than we used to, that's for sure. And tomorrow's another day. Is Rick still coming on the Discord? If you want, I'll still reach out to him. I don't know if he's going to be in the talking mood, but
Ask Rick. Come to Discord, bro.
I'll still reach out to him. No insider sold. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. They never sold. They didn't do anything skeevy to drive it up to the $5 billion and keep it there and get their bonus. So I mean, when you consider they could have, when this thing was insiders like Rick or rather.
Hold on, when they said they didn't do anything schemy, I just want to make sure I heard that right, because I thought the SEC accused them of fraud and one of the dudes got arrested. So just when you say they didn't do anything schemy.
That's what I was saying. They never sold, but I'll still reach out to him. No insider sold. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. They never sold. They didn't do anything skeevy to drive it up to the $5 billion and keep it there and get their bonus.
Like lie about their data.
So I mean, when you consider they could have, when this thing was insiders like Rick or rather Remy and Sanford could have sold out for more than 100 million, and they didn't. It's just disappointing all around for everybody.
The average person sees around 10,000 online ads daily.
Yeah.
Here's how a man's life would change if he...
Fucking YouTube.
Sell or keep our shares. Willie, it's tough to paint a compelling future here. I guess the number one thing we could look to is if Kupiak wants to make this his baby and invest those dollars in what he thinks is the next best thing. But other than that, I can't. It's hard for me to even think of a compelling future. Good way of looking at it, yeah. At least we finally have closure. Not the one we wanted, but there's some good in it anyways. That's a good attitude, Rasmussen. Who knows? It's hard to see all the ramifications of it now. We'll look back in a couple of years and see what became of it. Filament A is such an interesting area.
No, it isn't.
We'll see what happens. Statistical anomalies happen, yep. So right now it's dropped down to 383. That's right around cash. Should we buy for whatever the price is at market open, or is there any chance it may go up dollar based on the company value? Like I said, I just can't paint a compelling future. So like we said, we figured it would trade for around cash at 383. That's around cash. So am I selling my call options? I haven't put it in an order or anything yet, but they're basically worthless. I'll when we get off of this, if I can get a nickel for them, I will, but I don't think I will. So
autofill.
I don't think I'll get a nickel for them. So I already that's the end of the $100,000 real portfolio. That's I already put it in the retired area. It's would have been fun. That would have been millions in there, but that would have been fun.
Did you say 100K?
I had to reboot. Can you recap what happened with Sava, Alaska man?
Yeah, he said 100K. That's what he's saying. Yeah, Andy got it.
That's already put it in the.
I mean, I bet he's lying, but
So, I already, that's the end of the $100,000 real portfolio. That's, I already put it in the retired area. It's, would have been fun. That would have been millions in there, but that would have been fun. I had to reboot. Can you recap what happened with Sava, Alaska man? The placebo group did not move the way you might expect, considering 40% of these were.
Is that what happened? The placebo failed you? It's not the drug. It's the placebo's fault.
Moderates especially.
It's a super placebo.
3.2, and so even though the drug was better than that at 2.8 and it was safe, it was not nearly enough for statistical significance. And theoretically, technically, just so you know, they could run a large enough trial if Matt makes enough money and wants to sink billions into this. They could run a large enough trial.
True.
To show to turn a 0.4 difference into a statistical significance with a large enough trial.
Do it.
They'll never do that though.
Pay for it, Matt.
Tough one, Alaska man. There's very little to hang our hats on here, and it's just very tough. None of the insiders sold. That's hundreds of millions. I know, big techs. So it just shows that there was not a fraud, or at least the insiders were not a fraud. Maybe Wang, I guess, was leading us astray more than we understood. Although there was other things that he had no part of, so it's just hard to say. Freedom says, didn't this happen in phase 2 data readout? The data was not correctly reviewed. Yes. However, that was reviewed by Lund University. In this case, I think Suzanne Hendricks would have to be screwing us, or else somebody would have had to have hacked into the system that's built not to be hacked into that collects the data. So.
Oh, we hacked that bitch.
I mean, that's always an outside chance, but I doubt it that this is doctored data, not with Suzanne Hendricks and the software that's made to have the chain of command and chain of custody that ensures that it's not messed with, hopefully. McGlintock says, I'm actually having a really...
The problem is the chain of custody. Where's my hoodie? This is me with the chain of custody. Then I hack into the system, change out the placebo, then sneak out. I changed I saw it was a 14 8S cog. I just moved the decimal to 1.4. Peace. Just put my janitor costume on. See, cassava, cassava sciences, what floor? Okay. See, me clean, plaza.
Porterfield.
Que plaza? 1, 2, 3. Sí. That's what I did, man. That's all it took.
Really hard time. This isn't working for Milds. We saw the effect it had in real people's lives.
Yes.
Can we follow up with Hillary Metz? It's hard to believe the 80s stopped reversing for people and stopped. Hillary Metz's father, unfortunately, it seems he came off the medicine during the placebo portion of CMS.
Oh.
And he went downhill quickly, and unfortunately, he passed away.
Oh, shit. I thought it was disease modifying.
But yes, her father
Modified his life status, unfortunately.
was moderate, though. Moderate. He couldn't, like, he didn't know who mom was. That's moderate all the way. And then he drives 1,000 miles and back. This is confusing, but gosh. Yes, it's sad that he passed away, yeah.
I thought these patient
How does
testimonials...
this affect the Discord?
I thought these patient testimonials were also positive. Oh, yeah, he died. Now we find out? Now we find out he died? Did he die like yesterday before the trial results? Were you going to tell us this?
Going forward, well, I suspect there'll be less chat in the Sava... in the Sava channel. Sava. How does this affect the Discord going forward? Well, I suspect there'll be less chat.
How does this affect the Discord going forward, Brett?
How does this affect the Discord going forward? Well, I suspect there'll be less chat in the Sava in the Sava channel. But I was hoping that everybody was going to make a lot of money, and I basically finished finally going through really the whole other investing universe, as you can see on the left side. And so we're going to have 8 video/emails. So I'm going to write a little email twice a week and do a little video with it covering everything. So let me find.
The Aaron Sweater Market
No
since
way he's for real, right?
1892 for the authentic.
Where we said that.
Who could be that dumb? OnlyFans? Good.
So that would be
Order
REITs, ETFs, qualified dividends, meaning dividends outside your IRA that are tax
Order partially
advantaged.
filled.
Master limited partnerships, same
Order
thing.
filled.
High yield and fixed income, biotechs and developmentals, compounders and turnarounds, and leverage and options.
Order partially filled.
Covering everything. So
Order filled.
we'll keep going with the best
Order
investments we
partially
can find.
filled. Order filled.
CADL, I looked at it briefly. I didn't think they have data coming out, but it looks shitty.
And learning as
Order
much as we
filled.
can. And so I like the
Order filled.
I'll look at
format
CADL.
of doing the slides and doing
If their data's about to come out, I'll look at it.
some good research and then doing the slides. And so I've been in each of these topics. I have, just like I've been telling you, I've been working so much, and I can't wait to share it with you. And now I've shown you all the portfolios. So now, but I have so much to share with you about each of those topics. And then once we sort of get the intro going for each one, it'll be fun to revisit each one and track all these things. So we'll have a lot of portfolio. We'll create a lot of portfolios that we track, and I've got a lot of great, compelling stories on a lot of these stocks. So the Discord will the Discord and Investors Club will just keep going and open up more and more. It's going to be a lot more because I've been working so much to share with you and haven't been able to share it yet. So we're sort of on the verge of that right now. So we're just going to do more and more.
Order partially
So
filled.
I hope you're with us, my friend. I know how disappointing this is.
My friend.
I don't have standard deviations, so I have nothing to put in there. Yeah, they didn't give us a standard deviation. But with that small difference, it really wouldn't. I mean, a standard deviation of like 1 still probably wouldn't have done it for us. Frankly, I'm not sure if it, but still, it seems like it was just not enough effect size. Are you able to the standard deviation to get the answer? Then you can see. I think I'm done with biotech stocks. This is a killer.
Order filled.
I don't blame you, Willie T. And if you're interested in any other type of stocks, we're going to be covering them and doing a lot of educational stuff. So we're going to be the most informed group. Everybody here is going to know what Warren Buffett wants you to know. And
What?
So that's going to be good stuff. It's a lot of fun to do that stuff as well.
about Warren Buffett?
And all the other types of investments as well. So all that good stuff. What are the chances that we see a variation of simufilam being tested by a big pharma in the near future?
0?
I think
Order
that
partially filled. Order
you
filled.
can't get around accounting for filament A in biological processes, so I don't know if they'll target it directly or not, but I do think, based on all, there's just been a flood of filament A publications in the last few years, so I do think that there's going to be more and more treatments around the understanding of filament A. I don't know if they'll target it directly or not.
Order cancelled.
Other than the obvious, I was surprised that plasma markers were mentioned as not meeting. Gosh, I was shocked that there was nothing to hang a hat on. I mean, it improved slightly in both primary endpoints, and so probably a little bit in all the others as well. But my gosh, just not much separation. Yeah, McGlintuck surprised as well. Or Big Texas agreed that makes sense about the plasma markers. Sorry, Joe, I don't mean to be such a denier. This just feels a lot like the COVID-19 shot. It's good for you, but people were dying. Yeah, it's tough to square that placebo.
Get them next time.
The placebo group not moving as much, especially given that it had 40% moderates, and the things Big Pharma was doing, they weren't doing any moderates. I'm wondering if the real corruption, I'm wondering if the real messing with the numbers was with all the Big Pharma numbers.
Right.
Maybe they were making those placebos worse somehow. Maybe that's what we're seeing. Maybe this is what placebos really look like, and we've been seeing Big Pharma skewed placebos. Willie T says, "Thanks, Joe. I'm sticking with you. Thank you, my friend. I'll do right by you. This community means so much to me now.
Yeah, sure does.
This, like I said, I lost a bunch of money. I mean, it was easily my largest investment.
Order filled.
But that doesn't. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just thinking I'm just so sad for everybody. So it's and we're both Tony Robbins. We're gonna make this a positive, and there's a lot to learn. We've come so far. If it wasn't for this, there's so much with our community. I mean, I don't think any of us, again, imagined what we were going to find when we looked into all of this stuff. The science, the corruption, the hopefulness about all the corruption being changed. So maybe we were, and that's another thing, is that who knows, maybe we were a part of that, because we were certainly loud about the corruption, and there is a lot of corruption, so who knows, maybe
what corruption?
All of that is for a reason that will add up to something that's not clear yet. But thank you so much,
God's
Willie,
plan.
my friend. I'll do very much right by you, my friend. Wasn't Lily talking recently about it?
No.
Lily was talking about misfolded proteins recently. And that seemed to be up our alley, but
no.
Mickey says, what about any changes to investigate potential sabotage? Reminds me of the hiccup with the biomarkers in phase 2. That's what someone else said too.
Don't do that.
But in phase 2, they had Lund University. Here it's Suzanne Hendricks, who seems to be a friend of the company. So it's tough. It's tougher to think. Okay, trying to go from a pure data perspective, the placebos didn't decline as much as many other trials. Did we lose track of patient records? It's so hard to say. Again, especially with the moderates.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
Chuck says there is a lot at stake. Don't discount the level of potential corruption. Now, first of all, I agree. You guys know I agree with you on that.
Order filled.
I hope they find something when they review the data. For so many high-level people to be surprised, something stinks. And the placebo numbers is staring us in the face at just looking wrong. It's hard to know, again, especially with 40% of the placebo being moderate. It doesn't add up. It's true. It's true. DK says, why 100% focuses now on how to create a comeback from this, PGTX, etc. Good for you, DK. And you know what? I was about to say,
Order partially filled.
you should make a list of
Order
you know,
filled.
the positives and the things you learned and everything. But that's what I should do, and say, here's what we
Order
learned.
partially
Here's what we
filled.
learned, and
Order filled.
we should make sure that we learn from this.
Order filled.
Good attitude, my friend. So I guess all the testimonials were lying. I don't know. How does Hillary's father not know who mom is and then drive around the country? It doesn't make sense.
Order partially filled.
I
Order
don't know.
filled.
I'm out of that. That's a good question. I'm at a loss on that one.
Order filled.
Big Tex and McGlintock are typing. Big Tex says, I can agree to the results didn't work if you're able to see every bit of data.
Order filled.
That Suzanne and Scott, if they can't release that, then I think something was corrupted. I was a little disappointed they didn't take questions. We didn't get much at all. Like they didn't give us much that wasn't in the press release at all, and took no questions. But what are you gonna do? I hate that Kramer was right. I hate that Kramer was right. I hate that Martin was right. I don't want to think about all those Adam. I don't want to think about all those people. Ugh. I hate it too, my friend. Yes, if we believe these results, the 24-month CMS results were just an artifact, yeah. Scuba says they weren't right, they were successful. That's interesting. That placebo is so confounding. Because we know that it's been such
Order
a hard to
partially
treat
filled.
disease that they've run so many
Order
trials.
filled.
Most diseases, you can't look at 50 other large trials, placebo controlled,
Order
and have
filled.
a reference point. So I don't know. Maybe somebody got a hold of the placebo pills and was putting cocaine in there or something. Isn't the cash value of the stock $350? It's something like that, McClintock. Yes. Gary B., what might have gone wrong? I don't know.
Order filled.
Without seeing the rest of the data, it's tough to say. That placebo group is just so odd. Will I be selling at the all at the open, Joe? I suppose. I'm in no rush because I don't think I'm going to get anything. I had stock, but mostly I had options, and it's just going to be completely wiped
Order
out. I haven't
partially
even looked.
filled.
I don't.
Order
I don't
filled.
want to look. It's going to dip down to 250 at least, so you're better off selling it in extended, most likely.
Order filled.
So surprised with how they did this. Hire 2 execs with data around the corner. They released bad data Monday morning while
Order
we were
filled.
stuck. I can't seem to sell any shares in pre-market. Yeah, they did what they had to do to get the company prepared with those 2 execs. And they didn't give them too much cash. It was all shares they're going to be worth. Those executives are going to have
Order
short
partially filled.
cassava careers.
Order filled.
The expected
Order
decline
partially
in
filled.
placebo
Order
overall
filled.
is like 5.5, and if you go to mild cognitive impairment, it's like 3 or 3.5. So it's crazy.
Order filled.
If we saw the placebo the way we were expecting, we would have statistical significance.
Order partially filled.
Maybe somehow somebody put some simufilem in the placebos. Maybe they got access to the placebo pills and put simufilem in there. Even after all this, I'm tempted to retain my shares, but I know that's not the right thing. I need to get out of this stock and move on. We get so invested in it that we are blinded sometimes. It's true. We can't be, we're supposed to be loyal to the cash flows and not loyal to the stock itself. You gotta be loyal to your life goals and just do what's best for your life goals, not decide you like the home team and just whatever. Big Tech says, I'm definitely not blinded, Willie. I'm an engineer. I see black and white, so I need to see all the data. Nothing emotional here. Was refocus inclusion criteria any different to potentially avoid the possibility of a repeat placebo issue? No, the inclusion criteria was the same.
Autofilled.
My biggest lesson here is the 5% rule to never have more than 5% of your total holdings in any single stock. I had 7% in Saba. Yep. I wonder what scumbag meant. Said we had no idea what they had planned. DK says, yes, was actually trying to reduce prior to phase 3. The early data was a shock. This is a surprise.
Yeah, that was me when I said, you have no idea what we have planned. I kept writing this like conspiratorial stuff. Then decided to stop because it was like a little too much because I knew how much these idiots would take it seriously. But I was like, you have no idea what we have planned. Then I wrote something like, I don't even care about people with Alzheimer's. All I care about is my profits. And I kept like doing that kind of thing. And I think that a couple of them saw it.
DK says, yes, was actually trying to reduce prior to phase 3. The early data was a shock. This is a surprise to me, too. This is much earlier than I thought was possible.
Yeah.
Maybe they just have better software these days.
Yeah. It's true.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
All right, maybe an ad now.
Can't figure out where I can see the results for just the milds. Next, they didn't give them to us. It looks like to me like you can only see the moderate and mild ones together. It's true. And I don't think there's any way they would have shut down the other program, shut the entire program down if they hadn't seen the milds and it just wasn't much different.
Order cancelled.
If it was compelling at all,
Order
they would
partially
they
filled.
would not have shut the program down.
Order filled.
So they didn't share it with us, but it couldn't have been too much better. I want to see those PTAL 181 and 217 numbers. Yeah. Bottom line is no one could see this coming, and that is scary. I agree, Willie T.
No one could see it coming?
A lot of risk in biotech, no question about it.
Order cancelled.
Nobody?
Order filled.
Not a single soul? Half the float was short?
Will all the shorts be covering here? I can't think of anyone else buying.
Order partially
they'll probably
filled.
cover here. I don't see why.
Order
they would.
filled.
That's how it works.
Does Saba end up being a movie still?
Order filled.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe Matt will.
could be a movie.
Matt will be upset about losing 70 million and go around shooting everybody, and then that'll be made into a movie. I don't know.
Order partially filled.
The fuck?
Order filled.
Did Matt and Mac try
I
to
don't think
do
we get made into a movie. This is. I really hope that this is. Like
Order
Rick said,
filled.
that this helps advance the field.
Advance the
so
field.
who knows? Maybe this will end up being a key to something in the future. It's bad. I feel bad for Archosaurus and for Matt and for Anthony and forgive me please for forgetting
Order
everybody
partially
else
filled.
as family members.
Order filled.
Dr. E. I feel bad for everybody who had their hopes up for their loved ones.
Order filled.
And we're back to square one again. Wait, naked shorts buying could give it a dead cat bounce. It's true, Patrick. It's true, but it'll trade around cash, whatever it does. 8.8 million shares sold on Friday with stock price down. Somebody knew something on Friday.
Yes.
Do you have any it could be Neil? Do you have any explanation for how the results from phase 2 to phase 3 can change so much? It's not clear that they did. If the milds stayed about flat and the moderates were ugly like in the past trial, it's about what we're seeing here. That it ends up being a 2.8 point decline. Now, when they said 8S cog decline, they must have meant increase. There's no way the placebo group got better. So yeah, increases. So anyway, so that's good enough. Like that, if we got the placebo, the big story here is the placebo is not nearly what we thought it would be, and there's a lot of other trials to look at. And people are saying this data might be fishy, and maybe it is. And maybe they snuck simulfilin into the placebo drug, the placebo pills, or maybe Biogen and Lilly and the rest doing the past trials were doing something shady with the placebos, making them worse. I don't know. If they terminate Refocus, they can unblind the data and see if the same pattern. Yes. All of the trial sites were different, correct? That's a bummer to terminate that program. What if they did find out that something was being screwed with? Well, I guess they got to terminate the program anyway if that's the case. But Gary says, does anyone think Big Pharma forced the company to release the news?
Yes. That's what happened.
No, I think they just had to get it out there. If they terminate Refocus, good point. Mickey, why did RAP gain traction if one would now have to assume simulfilin protein correction is not working? Or is this specific or simulfilin does not damage the prospects of similar pharmaceutical approaches? So you're telling me RAP is up on this. Well, I suppose they were not doing exactly the same thing, and then maybe the things that Casavo is going after is now one less competitor, so RAP might go up a little
Order
bit.
partially filled. Order filled.
But yeah, generally, I agree, Mickey. It would seem to, I would think that they would get bashed down in sympathy with them because their programs are not proven and there is some overlap. What happens with the patents? Do they have any residual value? Not really. They'll be worth maybe 20 or 50,000 bucks or something. Simulfilin, but the placebo didn't. It's so hard to say. That's what it appears versus history, but
It's real tricky.
that's almost it's hard to say that's the case though.
Order
And the fact
filled.
that they shut the program down, it's like even if there was hope for that, well, there's not now. They shut everything down.
I'll buy the patents.
Legit says, Can you unmute me legit?
Uh-oh.
My friend, you are unmuted.
Grind him up. Grind his ass
You're
up.
still muted. You are still self-muted, but you are unmuted by me. And until legit unmutes himself, we will see what else is happening here. McGlintock says, okay, possibility 1, these data are completely correct, and everything before now was just an artifact.
Yes.
Possibility 2, there was some sample or record mishandling, and this drug does actually have an effect. In
Yes.
scenario 2, there will be many, many patients who will go off the drug and start declining a lot. Yeah.
Scenario 2 is very likely.
Okay, I'm off now.
Hello, my friend. How are you? Good to hear from you, my friend.
My friend.
You got some. Yeah.
I am getting over a cold, so I can just barely hear you.
Okay.
And so the question is, why was the why was the data similar for the sumafalam group and the placebo group? So when you're in this kind of study, just the fact that you're in a study can cause you to invest in things that appear to show improvement. And so that's the reason why they have a placebo group, is they don't want the you have to show a difference between the group who's in the study taking the medicine and the group who's in the study not taking the medicine. So just the fact that you're in a study that gives you hope, sometimes you can show improvement in your symptoms.
Good point. Yes, you could start engaging in exercise, quit smoking, etc., and do some of the things that, for example, lower your cardiovascular risk factors, which have a lot of overlap with Alzheimer's risk factors, etc. So that's a good point, my friend. However, the only thing is, you could say that about the past trials as well. That if you're going to see it in this trial, you should see that in the 50 past trials as well.
And that's the other thing I was going to say, is that statistical anomalies happen. It's like if you flip a coin and it comes up heads 3 times in a row, it doesn't mean it's going to come up heads every time. That's the reason trials have to be a certain size to show statistical significance. It's because sometimes you can get an odd group of people in a smaller trial, a phase 2 trial, that shows good data, but then when you do a
Order filled.
full-size trial,
Order cancelled.
those statistical anomalies work themselves out.
Yeah.
Because you're flipping that coin so many times.
Right, larger sample size. Yeah, good point.
So, were there any other questions on here that I
Order partially filled.
and see if there's anything else I can
Order
take a
filled.
stab at answering?
Sure.
I mean, it just, having had a bunch of
Order
graduate
filled.
research courses, I know that this kind of stuff can happen. It's just very, very disappointing today.
Agreed. And DJSM here is saying that how interesting it would be if Refocus came back positive. That's perhaps
Order
the most
partially
disappointing thing,
filled.
is we don't even get to look at that. It's if it turns out
Order
that there
filled.
was something fishy, and we don't even get that data. But yeah.
So here's my thinking. If these results did not speak loudly, I don't think they would have canceled that Refocus study. But I think they
Order
they
partially
probably got
filled.
this news late Friday.
Order
And
filled.
they went through this, they talked to a bunch of people, and they said, yeah, no, this
Order
isn't even
filled.
close. And so that's why they're canceling the Refocus study.
FDA will
Now
send you
that
stuff on
they've made
Friday.
the decision to cancel it. They are 2/3 the way through that study. They will get their final data readout, and maybe there's something they can do something with, but as much money as they've invested in that Refocus study, if these statistics didn't speak very clearly to them, I don't think they would have canceled that
I
study.
agree. It's such a sunken cost. They put so much in just to finish it up. It's just a small fraction of the cost to complete it. And yeah, they pulled the rug. So I agree that the data must have been conclusive.
But having said that, yes, probably they will tabulate that
Order
data
partially
from the
filled.
Refocus study
Order
to
filled.
see if there's anything to confirm that the results of this study.
Order partially filled.
Yeah.
Order filled.
Yeah, I agree, because they sounded confused too. I was glad they called out the fact that placebo
Order
was
filled.
confusing for them as well. So yeah, it's it'll be interesting to what we hear from them going forward about this.
Order filled.
I mean, so many people said, well, at least it's over. What if it's not over? What if this thing refuses to stop having twists and turns? Well, thank you, my friend. Those are great insights.
I'm happy to hang out here in the background in case you read through something else that I may be able to comment on.
Okay.
This guy's an expert.
Yeah, you're not intruding. Okay, that sounds great.
Confederacy of Dunces.
Order
I
partially
would have
filled.
the remaining placebo
Order
pills
filled.
tested for the presence of simufilum. Seriously.
Gotta test them.
Like,
Test those
what if they
placebos.
did that? That would be terrible.
Test the placebos.
Yeah, I would pay to keep
Order
testing
filled.
them without giving them a drug to see if they decline.
We don't know what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, and you know what? There's 149 million, and it seems like for us, we'd rather see
Order
them
filled.
finish off, spend that money finishing off, getting to the bottom of this. But from
Right.
their perspective, they have the
Order
incentive
filled.
to keep their paychecks, to keep that money in the bank, so they keep their paychecks.
It's a fact.
Order filled.
Need that paycheck.
I hope everyone has a tolerable day. I've got to head to
Order
my volunteer work at the food pantry. Bill, good for you, buddy.
Good for you, buddy.
That'll keeps things in perspective, doing things for other people. Why
Order
stop
partially
and
filled.
focus altogether, if not assuming
Order
the
filled.
blatant sabotage of a placebo group that cannot be resolved as time has
Order
passed
filled.
by since the start of the trial? Again, it's the placebo
Order
arm,
cancelled.
not the Virum arm, that is the problem.
Order filled.
Right? Yeah, this was good enough. It should have been. This that they were showing.
Order
half,
cancelled.
Reduced the rate of decline by half. If it was 5.5 or
Order
5.6,
partially
it would have been
filled.
half of the
Order
rate of
filled.
decline, and that includes having 40% moderates, which are just tougher to treat. So it's so disappointing.
Order filled.
Ed, they might have enough
Yes,
completers
Senator.
for Refocus to make some assessment. Yeah, there should be enough data there to see to see something, to figure out what happened. That means spending more money to tabulate Refocus, lowering the share price further. That is what that means. I mean, they're trying to save every dollar now. Inconsequential costs, I'll do it for free. So yeah, like I said, Wine, we want to see them continue to spend their money to get to the bottom of this. They they will look at it from a perspective of wanting to keep the company going and able to pay the bills and it's
Order partially filled.
Gary
Order
says
filled.
2 recent hires, no members have sold any shares, 88% open label enrollment. The Pete's House
Order
biomarker
filled.
study in phase 2, clear separation in phase 2 open label, and so on. It's just so hard to believe. I agree.
Order
with you.
filled.
And then
Sucks, man.
to have that weird placebo number, it's just tough to swallow.
Doesn't make any fucking sense.
Thank you for the condolences, Joe. I am speechlessly devastated. I'm so sorry for you, Arch. I know you've kept our focus in the right human area because of your family. And I'm not looking forward to passing this devastating news on to the rest of my family. We were all
Order
really looking
partially
forward to getting
filled.
on simufilum as soon as possible.
Order filled.
Unfortunately, it looks like we recalibrated
Order
our
filled.
search. Well, and then who knows? Maybe because all of us just spent.
Autofilled.
I mean, this is 4 years of having my nose in Alzheimer's now. That was never going to happen some other way. So who knows?
Autofilled.
I mean, maybe between the whole community getting focused on Alzheimer's, maybe it'll lead to something
Autofilled.
else. Big techs, and it was so sudden. Like if they had
Autofilled.
questions on the data, they've still got.
Well-
could have waited a couple more weeks to try to figure it out.
One way to do it is to say sigma-phi M and filament A no longer work. There are 21,999 other proteins to try. Just saying.
Yeah, they pulled the plug, but it was like immediately, like something or someone said, "Shut it down." Yeah, it was. I mean, it really couldn't be more drastic.
Order partially
Mary,
filled.
there is a lot of research being done
Autofilled.
on how different body types react differently to the same drug or foods. Is there a possibility of that offsetting the results? I don't
Autofilled.
know. I mean, certainly there's different people. Yeah, they metabolize drugs differently. Et cetera.
Autofilled.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But you would think that maybe it would be distributed evenly between the two groups. I
Yeah.
don't know. Good question, Mary.
Order partially filled.
Glintop, I
Autofilled.
think seeing the mild data will help me understand.
No, how do I
How
watch
is
it?
so different from the CMS trial? 2 years is
Autofilled.
I want to watch Ansem fight.